Welcome to Field Supervision Training for Spring of 22. My name is Dr. Shelley Allen, and I'm here to guide you through the new changes to our program. We want to thank you and tell you how grateful we are that you're part of our team. You are a valuable piece to adding experiences and advice to our students to help give them a well-rounded program, and we do really appreciate it. So we have what's called now the Elite Field Observation Experience with a coherent sequence. So ELITE stands for Educational Leadership Initiative to Teach Everyone. There will be 3 observation phases. You'll have the observing, the participating, and the leading. As part of this field observation experience, the candidates will address the needs of socioeconomically disadvantaged or at-risk students at their campus. So let's take a closer look. We're going to focus on observation 1, which is their video 1. We'll have other videos later that will give you video 2 and video 3. So in this video, candidates and their campus site supervisor are going to develop a campus level needs assessment that will address the teaching and learning of socioeconomically disadvantaged or at-risk students on their campus. The needs assessment and activity of phase 1 will be presented by the candidate to an appropriate campus group. That group is going to be created by the student and the campus site supervisor, and they're going to record that presentation for their field observation video that has guidelines and a grading rubric. Just like in our other guidelines, we have contextual standards. These are like our non-negotiables, the things you're going to look for and make sure the student has. So their video submission is going to be one segment that's going to include the introduction and the activity itself. We will not have a reflection video anymore. That reflection is going to be a short written reflection as part of their DAD-R in Blackboard. That meeting has to take place on a campus, and we have to at least see the participants at some point, and we need to hear them all the time when they're talking. So due to COVID, they may be spread out across the room. That camera may move around, so you will go ahead and give them credit as long as you've seen those participants at some point and you can hear them when they're talking. The candidate must be professionally dressed in their video, and that video needs to be uploaded into their UJA or My Media account and then uploaded into the Blackboard for assignments. So as part of our changes, good news is you're going to have about 20 students, and you're going to work through all 3 phases with them through this long session. So you're going to get to see them at the beginning, the middle, and the end. You're going to get to see them grow. So that's kind of exciting. And they always wonder, are you going to be my same field supervisor? And the answer now is yes. So we are excited about that. So your task is going to be to review that video in Blackboard. You're looking for that 1 45-minute clip with demographics and the video topic. You're going to look for that reflection in their DAD-R, and you are going to fill out that rubric in Blackboard as well, providing feedback, a coaching statement, and goal, as well as scoring out that rubric. So step 1 for you is going to be to review the DAD-R. There you're going to find the student's email and phone number. You're going to find the information about who's in that video, the campus, the site supervisor. You're going to see the reflections answered from questions. If the candidate doesn't complete this, then you're going to stop at row 1 and you're going to work with that student to complete that. So send an email and say, hey, you didn't fill out your DAD-R. I need you to get that done. And then you're going to score it appropriately on the rubric because they didn't get it in on time. So take those points off for not getting it in on time and then move on to the next steps as the candidate gets that finished. So this is going to help you make your feedback a little more personalized. You're going to have the names of the participants. You're going to have the names of the candidates. You're going to have the name of that site supervisor. And you're going to look at that reflection. You're going to get a pretty good idea of what you're going to see as you do that video. Step 2, you're going to open up 2 tabs. One's going to have Blackboard. One's going to have that smart sheet. So don't panic over the smart sheet. It's going to look much like your workbook in the past, except the smart sheet is going to be like a live version of Excel. So it's going to fill in that information. It's going to keep that information. You're not going to have to send that workbook in. It's going to be in that smart sheet, and it's like automatic, kind of like a Google spreadsheet or a Google Doc. So my tip would be open up a Word document. I always type my feedback back in a Word document with my coaching statement and goal, and then I spell check everything, make sure everything's correct, and then I copied and pasted it in my workbook. I suggest you do the same thing for your smart sheet, and you're also going to copy that feedback information and goal and coaching statement within the rubric. That way you make sure everything is correct and just like you want. Plus you have a backup document if something happens to go wrong. Step 3, you're going to open up that video assignment in Blackboard. You're going to click on that new rubric. You're going to review the video. In that compliance area that we'll look at in just a minute, you're going to type in feedback, coaching statement, and goal, . In those titles, you're going to type in your information about that video submission. Give them their feedback. This needs to be continuous with no return. So you see it in a nice little row there. When you type it, you're going to put feedback and type out their feedback, and then roll right into coaching statement and type their coaching statement, and then right into goal. So it's going to be one big continuous paragraph. If we don't do that, it's not going to mail merge. So be sure that you do that with no returns and it's all one continuous paragraph. But we want to be sure that you have those titles there: feedback, coaching statement, and goal. And then you're going to score the rest of the rubric rows. So then you have the rubric. Again, that first row is compliance. If they didn't do their data or other things, then you're going to work with that student to get that completed. And then you're going to take off for it being late because they're not going to have it in on time. So let's say that Shelly has a video and it's 42 minutes long. The requirement is 45. So you're going to email that student and you're going to say, Shelly, I watched your video. It's 40 minutes long or 42 minutes long, and the requirement is 45. I need you to record a corrective action video that gives more details for 3 minutes, and we'll add that to your submission to get your 45 minutes. So you can give them some suggestions on what they can add to it, because you will have watched at least the 45 minutes. So do they need to pull somebody else and ask some questions? Do they need to talk to their site supervisor about how that meeting went? You'll decide that based on that video clip that you watched. I talked a little bit about smart sheets. So I'll kind of gloss over the overview of it. Dr. Harrison will send out a video as well, or videos that will give you the details and walk you through the exact steps of how to fill in that smart sheet and the things that go with it. But most of that information is going to populate for you. There is going to be a drop down for a TEA statement, and we'll kind of look at that in a minute, but you're going to copy your feedback, coaching statement, and goal in that one long continuous paragraph with no returns. Remember, if we have returns, it's going to not mail merge it correctly, and you're going to be sure that you put in your post-conference date with that student. Another new item is a statement to their site supervisor. This is just going to be a brief statement. You can make up one and use it for all of your students for this observation video. But as you move to the second video, the participating video, then you want to be sure that the statement changes. You're just going to thank that site supervisor for being a site supervisor to the candidate, for providing their expertise and examples and helping them with this needs assessment maybe. So you can make up your statement. It doesn't have to be long. You're going to copy and paste that in your smart sheet as well. Some ideas for scheduling. So I know you only have 20 students, but 20 emails going back and forth can be kind of frustrating. So you want to be sure that you have varying points in the day, because not all of them have the same conference time. And as you know, COVID has kind of changed education. So a lot of them have other duties assigned. They have other things going on, meetings and other things. So their time is pretty precious during the day. So make sure you have options for various points in the day and maybe even on the weekends. I like to use Doodle, so you can go to doodle.com. It allows you to put in when you're available, send out that link, and then the students can sign up when they're available. So that just takes the emailing back and forth out. And at the end of this presentation, there's a slide that shows you how to do that if you don't know how to do that. If you have another system that works for you, that is great. That is just a suggestion for me. I just kind of help you out and make it a little easier. So again, here are those slides. There's one on Adobe Connect. If you want to meet with them at Adobe Connect, they're there. How to use Doodle is here. Here's some old field supervisors and training. You don't necessarily have to use that, but it's there if you want it. So let's take a moment and look at Blackboard and Smartsheets and kind of put it all together in broad strokes. Again, Dr. Harrison will send out emails with specific training for each of these items. So on my screen is an example of Blackboard, and this is an actual example. So there are no grades there because students haven't gotten that far because we've kind of changed up the what 5398 looks like in the grade book. So you would go to the Grade Center, click on that. Full Grade Center, click on that, and then it's going to bring you to this list. Sometimes it takes a little longer. It's been a little quirky for me, so it may be for you as well. Then you're going to look at the grade book. You're going to find your list of students. You're going to find that from your Smartsheet and then match it up with what's in grade book because you're going to have a whole section. Remember, you only have 20 students, so there's going to be more students in that grade book than you have on your Smartsheet. You're going to go with what's on your Smartsheet. So let's take a look at the DADR first and some of the questions that are there. So here is what the DADR looks like for students. They're going to click begin and fill in their information. So they have questions to answer as follows: their last name, their first name, their phone number, what best describes their school, elementary, secondary, or both, what describes their participation in the Lamar program, how they were certified, whether alt certified or traditional, whether they've taken the pass load of the 268, which observation this is. So for this one, we're looking at observation 1. And then they're going to share the date the observation video was recorded. So it's going to be right here. They're going to put the date, and they gave them an example of how to put that date in. What time of day did you do the observation? Was it like 8:30 a.m.? They'll put the answer there. What time of day did you end your observation? They'll put the time there. What is the length? So this should say 45, or they're going to have a corrective action if it's less than 45. Name of the site supervisor, their email, list of names of who's participating. This is how you're going to know who's in the video. And then here's the reflection. What did they learn from the observation activity? How will they use what they've learned? After reflecting on the observation activity, what do they wish they'd done differently? And what activities or experience do you need to bring your learning from this observation activity to the next level? So this may give you an idea of maybe a goal they might need to work on. Then they would save and submit it. So after you've reviewed that DADR and have a little bit more information about the video you'll be watching, you're going to move to the observation video. So again, you will go in Blackboard. When the student has completed the assignment, you will see it here. You will click on it and you will score it. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So again, let me remind you, Dr. Harrison will send out specific videos to walk through this a little slower. This is just the broad overview. So here's the rubric. The rubric does look differently. Remember that first row is compliance, a timely submission. So if they have to make corrective action or didn't do their DADR, you're going to move back and take off points, and that use of data. So once you do that, you would click submit. Here is where you're going to put your feedback, coaching statement, and goal. So again, you're going to click on that box. You're just going to type in the information here. Let's see if it'll let me do it. May not let me do it. So I am just looking at this from the rubric standpoint. So there's where you would type in feedback, type in your feedback continuously, then coaching statement, continue on with that, type in the coaching statement, then goal, type in that goal. Again, that needs to be one long continuous paragraph. I know sometimes that doesn't look great and you want to put paragraphs, but you're going to make that one paragraph so we can make it mail merge. So again, Dr. Harrison will walk through this with you. So again, this is an overall broad one. So this has everybody on it. You're going to get your list of 20 students on your Smartsheet. This is what Smartsheet looks like. It'll have all that information. Again, the email, that kind of thing. And Dr. Harrison will kind of walk through it with you. It will populate most of it for you from that DADR. So that's a great thing. He will go through the exact points that you're going to put in there. But again, make sure that you fill in your post-conference date from observation 1. So once you get that done, that's about all you need to know about that. So really, it's pretty straightforward and simple. However, we know with any new program in using something new and grading through Blackboard, and we have a new rubric and we're adding it to a Smartsheet, there's a learning curve. Sometimes there are glitches So we are very happy to answer your questions. Dr. Harvey has asked that you email him and contact him if you have any questions, and then he will disseminate it to the rest of us that are able to help you. But we are here to support you. Don't get frustrated. Ask. And Dr. Harvey will get you in touch with the person that is their expertise in their lane, so to speak. So again, we are so excited you're part of our team. We could not do what we do without you. So have a great session and enjoy the new observation video.